Flubber! Flubber? Sounds like baby shampoo.
It's a metastable compound. If you apply a small amount of energy, it liberates an enormous quantity of energy.
This definitely has applications in the field of sports.
Walt Disney Pictures presents a classic story.
Oh, sorry. First time flyer.
A boy meets goo. Flubber.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Blockbuster Show. I'm Adam Sykes, and today we're going to be looking at Flubber, a Disney remake from the 90s, because that was apparently a really big thing back then. Yeah, even before nowadays, where we have all the current, Beauty and the Beasts and Aladdin's and Lion King remakes, live-action remakes. Yeah, even before all of that, they were doing it back then. And in the 90s, we got the live-action 101 Dalmatians movies, and today's subject, Flubber, which is a remake of Absent-Minded Professor. And in this case, it's written by John Hughes of Home Alone fame and starring the late great Robin Williams. Professor Philip Brainerd, played by Robin Williams, is experimenting with new kinds of energy, and he thinks this project will save struggling Medfield College, where his girlfriend, Sarah, played by Marcia Gay Harden, is president. But when he discovers a lively rubber-like substance dubbed Flubber, he gets so excited he absent-mindedly misses his own wedding. Sarah dumps him, so he tries to use his discovery to win her back. Unfortunately, the mischievous Flubber seems to have a mind of its own. The concept is basically the same. You have this goofy, absent-minded professor, just like the original title of the original movie would suggest. Here, he's played by Robin Williams. He has a fiance who he has total trouble with. They established very early on that he's got like a lot of terrible social skills, and he's way better at inventing things than, going out and making friends and even committing into the relationship with this woman he loves. Has a bunch of robot sidekicks, one of which is a floating little yellow thing that plays old cartoon and movie clips called Weebo, played by Jodie Benson, who some people may remember as the voice of Ariel from Little Mermaid, and she was also Barbie in the Toy Story movies. On top of that, the school that he teaches at as a science professor is about to get shut down because they don't have a lot of budget or funding. While all that's going on, his ex is being swayed into falling in love with this asshole played by Christopher McDonald, who some of you may remember as the villain from Happy Gilmore.
You're in big trouble, though, pal. I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast.
You eat pieces of shit for breakfast?
No.
So what Professor Robin Williams does is he comes up with this groundbreaking invention that is going to make the school all the money that they need to stay afloat. And that is this bouncing, basically indestructible slime that can make people or objects or whatever bounce to insane heights. You get the name Flubber from combining the two words flying and rubber, put it together, that's how you get Flubber. There is that part of your brain that makes you question, why does he even need to sell Flubber if the guy was able to create fully sentient, fully cognitive robots that can think for themselves? Like, why not just sell those and make a fortune? I get it's like they're his companions, they're his buddies, and later on they established that Jodie Benson bot actually loves him, which we'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, he could have easily sold his robots, but no, he didn't do that because we wouldn't have the funny sidekicks to make Happy Meals out of, and with no Flubber, we would have no movie. So while Christopher McDonald is trying to win over Robin Williams' ex, and he's trying to get her back, we then see the asshole millionaire who's trying to buy out the school with his son, played by professional nobody Will Wheaton. We hear about the Flubber invention, which is totally going to save the school, so they decide to throw a monkey wrench in the works by sending two bumbling goons, one played by the guy who played Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs, and the other one being played by Clancy Brown of the Kurgan from Highlander fame. I brought this up when I did my review of Home Alone 1, but after that, it feels like every John Hughes movie had to have a lot of unfunny slapstick, especially from the villains who are often bumbling burglars or some kind of criminals. Because of this, we got movies like the Home Alone sequels, with Home Alone 2 being not that bad, but Home Alone 3, that was like the only other one that was done by John Hughes. Then we got Beethoven, we got Dennis the Menace, Baby's Day Out, and sure enough, this movie's one of them, because there's a scene where the two hitmen go to try and steal the Flubber. Professor Robin Williams is testing out the Flubber on golf balls and bowling balls, and then they go bouncing out of the house and out the window, hit them in the heads, they go right up into the air and then fall all the way back down and hit them in the head. But from that point forward, Robin Williams is trying to get his ex-fiancée back away from Shooter McGavin, and the Jodie Benson bot eventually tries to reveal her true feelings for him. And one thing she does is she creates a human form, like a human hologram version of herself, to convey these emotions. She doesn't really show it off to him all that much, though. It's just kind of... It's like the rejected subplot from E.T., where E.T. had a thing for the mom. Yeah, there's a reason that they cut that out of E.T., because that shit is creepy. Then it hit me. She's trying to create an attractive female body through a computer and through science. This is another John Hughes movie. It's Weird Science Part 2. Professor Robin Williams then has a genius idea, just like in the original movie, that a great way to try and show people that Flubber works is by showing it off at the basketball game. So what they do is they make little Flubber tablets, put them on the bottom of their sneakers, and the team has like never won a basketball game. The joke is that all the players are a bunch of like overweight nerds and stuff like that. And then they do amazing because they've got the Flubber shoes, so they do a really good job at the game. I love that the ref tells them, hey, there's no rules against jumping high, because somebody tries to throw out like, hey, there's clearly some kind of foul play going on here, and ref's like, there's no rule against jumping super high.
Hey, are you blind? They're doing something illegal out here. Look, folks, nowhere in the rule book doesn't say anything about jumping too high.
To think Disney would utilize that for another basketball-related family comedy with Air Bud. So while everything seems good on that front, Robin Williams is getting back with his ex-fiancée. Eventually, the crooks do get their hands on the Flubber, and they also destroy Jodie Benson Bot's body. But she left behind a video to convey her true feelings, and leaves some files so that they could make another Weibo. With the power of Flubber, they're then off to try and see that asshole millionaire and his son, Will Wheaton, to try and stop him. And it turns out that Legasp, Shooter McGavin, was behind it all along. I'll say this, the funniest part is when the crooks are holding Robin Williams at gunpoint, and then it turns out that the gun is just a little toy water gun. I don't know why, that part was so stupid it actually got a laugh out of me.
Let him have it. No. Give it to him. No. Give it to him. Put it in his hand and give it to him. No.
So yeah, Christopher McDonald reveals that he was the bad guy behind all of this. He was going to try and shut down the school, and he's just a generic villain character. And I was joking about the Shooter McGavin thing earlier, but man, how is it that his character from Happy Gilmore, a comedy, is a way better villain with better motivation than this? This movie also gives him an even more embarrassing villain payoff too, because the Flubber shoots into his mouth and then bounces around his body and then lobs right out of his ass. It just shoots out of his pants and bounces away. Take out the asshole millionaire and his son and the two crooks. Clancy Brown gets high heels in his eyes from Robin Williams' fiance. That, I don't know, something about that was just, that triggered some kind of reflex in me. Ugh. So of course, Professor Robin Williams and the fiance finally get together. They get married, hop in a Flubber-powered car like they've been doing all throughout the movie. And oh, they even created a brand new Weibo. So, haha, happy endings for everybody. It's honestly kind of hard for me to rank this movie compared to some of the other stuff I've looked at, because it's not like some of the shitty straight-to-video sequels that I've looked at, especially not after last time with Cop and a Half 2, and other movies of that type, like, you know, Jingle All the Way 2, Tooth Fairy 2, all that kind of stuff. It's not really in that league, and it's also not like the really generic family movies that I've looked at that were from Fox that were based on properties like Gulliver's Travels or Marmaduke. It's not really like that. It just kind of flounders in between. Like, it has charm to it. The actors are trying. It's not that it's a terrible movie, but I don't know. Part of me just can't help but just, I don't know. It's the cliches, and some of that charm just isn't enough to really make me say this is a really great movie. Like I said earlier, there's things about it I like. I mean, I actually liked Robin Williams' performance in this. I feel like he actually did a good job conveying this professor character who's really good at what he does, which is inventing, but he just has really bad social skills, and he has trouble committing to his fiance and all that kind of stuff. I actually liked his performance in this. I don't know what it is. I also like Jodie Benson's character. I feel like her character of Weibo was actually one of the more interesting characters. I don't know, just something about like the whole idea of this robot that was in love with her creator. It sounds like a really interesting idea for a movie. Again, maybe it was because it was reminding me a little bit of Weird Science, but I don't know. I felt like there was some fun with that character, even though it was kind of obvious that character was specifically designed to be the cute robot comedy relief sidekick. I'll also say this, the effects in this movie, for being a 90s movie, the effects themselves actually aren't that bad. Like, I saw a little bit of the original like on TV a long time ago, and the effects in that, for a really old movie, like a black and white film, the effects in that were pretty good, but the effects in this, while the CG on the Flubber is a little bit I actually say the basketball scene was probably the most effective use of the special effects. That actually was really impressive, what they did with that scene. I intentionally skipped this part of the review because I wanted to bring it up at the end, but I was so right. I brought up at the end of the last video that the scene with the dancing Flubber seemed like something that was designed specifically to be in all the advertisement, and I was right, because when I looked up the trailer for this movie, when I was done watching it, every single ad and TV spot and trailer for this film that I could find had some kind of reference to what they call in the opening credits the Flubber Mambo. Because that scene of the dancing Flubber, it has nothing to do with anything, it adds nothing to the story, it's just a brief thing where the Flubber gets loose because Weibo wants to sabotage Dr. Robin Williams' plans with his fiancée, and this is like in the middle of the movie. And it just comes right out of nowhere. And they put so much effort into it that you know that it was going to be their key selling point for all the ads. Like I said initially, in the adverts, they had them dancing to a song from one of my favorite bands, Casey and the Sunshine Band. And they had really god-awful puns to go with it. But yeah, Flubber, not great, but I don't know, entertaining. It's way more charming than any of those terrible straight-to-video sequels and all those really generic 2010 Fox family movies I've looked at, so it has that going for it at least. Tune in next time to the Blockbuster Show, our third and final video for May. We're going to be looking at another E.T. ripoff. We did Mac and Me, we did Nuki, and now we're looking at a movie that is apparently on IMDb's Top 100 Worst Movies list. We're looking at Pod People. Until then, I'm Adam Sykes of the Blockbuster Show, and we will see you guys in the next video.